Jason Gandee has been named the new head football coach at Warren. The school held a press conference tonight to introduce Gandee as the new man in charge. He was approved at the Warren Local School District's board meeting last Thursday to become the program's 24th head coach. Gandee had previously been an assistant coach with the team for the past 7 seasons, including the past 3 with Jimmy Payton. During those 7 years, Gandee has served as defensive backs and wide receivers coach, special teams coordinator, and then defensive coordinator for the last 2 seasons. Gandee also enjoyed an athletic career at Belpre and Marietta College. He talks about what he wants to bring to the Warren football team.
I think just developing leadership characteristics in young men. You know, I think it's important for coaches to not only develop kids on the field, but off the field. What kind of people are they? What kind of people do you want them to be and help them develop to be? Most of them aren't going to play professionally. None of them maybe professionally. Most of them not in college. So what kind of person are they going to be?